True feminine fascination transcends any superficial technique or physical appearance. It's a phenomenon deeply rooted in human psychology, something that awakens lasting interest, admiration, and respect. Imagine entering a place and noticing that woman who, even without being the most physically striking, manages to capture the attention and interest of everyone around. It's as if she possessed an invisible magnetic field. This isn't a gift reserved for a select few. It's a capacity that can be understood and developed by understanding the psychological mechanisms that sustain it. What you've probably never realized is that authentic feminine fascination operates on a much deeper level than the seduction techniques usually taught. While many men seek to understand techniques to attract women, few truly comprehend what makes certain women naturally magnetic. And that's exactly what you're about to discover now. The fundamental psychological principles that make a woman truly fascinating, regardless of her physical appearance. Contrary to what many might think, genuine fascination doesn't come from manipulation or calculated strategies. I've observed over years of studying human behavior that truly fascinating women share a common quality: deep authenticity. They don't try to be someone they're not. This honesty with themselves creates an aura of confidence that is immediately perceptible, even if unconsciously. The human brain evolved to detect subtle incongruities between behavior and intention. This is a skill developed over thousands of years as a survival mechanism. When you're faced with someone trying to project a fabricated image, your brain picks up microscopic signs of incongruence: a gaze that lingers half a second too long, a facial expression that doesn't quite match the words spoken, a body posture that contradicts the tone of voice. These micro-signals trigger primitive alarms of distrust. In contrast, when you interact with a woman who fully inhabits her essence, who acts congruently with her internal values, your brain registers a sense of safety and trust. There's no need to be on guard. This feeling of security opens space for genuine connection, and it's the first component of true fascination. Imagine being in a conversation with someone whose eyes are constantly wandering the room, looking for more important or interesting people. Compare that to the experience of being with someone who is completely present, focused on the interaction with you, as if in that moment nothing else mattered. The difference is like night and day, isn't it? This is the second dimension of feminine fascination: full presence. Presence has an almost hypnotic power in human relationships. Social psychology studies show that when someone is fully present in an interaction, specific brain areas responsible for empathy and connection activate in both them and the person they're interacting with. This activation creates a circuit of emotional resonance between the two people, a kind of invisible biochemical dance. A woman who has developed the ability to be fully present becomes naturally fascinating because she offers something rare in our era of constant distractions: true attention. This quality manifests through genuine eye contact, active listening, and sincere responses. She isn't mentally planning what she'll say next while you're speaking. She is truly absorbing your words, your expressions, your emotions. This presence creates a sense of validation that is profoundly attractive and addictive. I've seen in my studies how the ability to be present, without anxiety about the past or future, creates an almost irresistible interpersonal gravitational field. The point is that presence cannot be faked. It requires a particular state of mind that comes from emotional self-discipline and consistent practice. Now think about the last times you felt an instant, deep connection with someone. What made that connection special? In many cases, it involved some level of shared vulnerability. Vulnerability, when well managed, is like a key that unlocks fortified emotional doors. Contrary to popular belief, vulnerability doesn't mean weakness or reckless exposure. Controlled vulnerability is a demonstration of strength and deep self-awareness. It's the ability to reveal selected aspects of oneself, creating bridges of identification and mutual understanding. The work of Dr. Emily Carter has revolutionized our understanding of vulnerability in human relationships. Her research consistently demonstrates that strategic vulnerability is one of the most powerful catalysts for human connection, especially in romantic contexts. When a woman selectively shares her experiences, fears, or hopes authentically, not as a manipulative strategy, but as a genuine expression, she creates a space that invites reciprocity. This calibrated vulnerability is so powerful because it's rare. In a world where most people operate behind carefully constructed facades, encountering someone who has the courage to be authentically vulnerable creates an indelible impression. It's as if a primitive part of the brain immediately recognizes and values this courage. At the same time, controlled vulnerability differs radically from emotional neediness or oversharing. A fascinating woman knows how to distinguish between vulnerability that builds bridges and exposure that creates burdens. She reveals enough to create connection, but maintains a sense of mystery and autonomy that generates respect. There's an ancient concept yet incredibly relevant to understanding feminine fascination: energetic polarity. This concept transcends outdated gender stereotypes to explain a fundamental dynamic in human attraction. Imagine that we all have a combination of feminine and masculine energies, regardless of our biological sex. Masculine energy tends toward direction, protection, focus, and assertiveness. Feminine energy tends toward receptivity, emotional fluidity, intuition, and connection. Fascination occurs when there is a complementary balance between these energies. A truly fascinating woman doesn't suppress her feminine energy to compete in a world that often values traditionally masculine traits. Instead, she fully inhabits her feminine energy while integrating aspects of masculine energy that serve her goals and personal expression. This polarity creates a natural energetic dance that is fundamentally attractive. It's important to understand that this doesn't mean submission or fragility. On the contrary, the conscious expression of feminine energy, manifested through emotional receptivity, keen intuition, expressiveness, and fluidity, represents a powerful form of strength that naturally complements masculine energy. Psychologically, this polarity satisfies a deep desire for completeness. When you encounter someone who expresses energetic aspects that complement yours, there's a sense of wholeness that is intrinsically satisfying. It's like two pieces of an energetic puzzle coming together to form a more complete picture. One of the most intriguing aspects of feminine fascination is the phenomenon I call present absence, the ability some women have to remain in someone's mind and emotions even when physically absent. Have you ever met someone who continued to occupy your thoughts days or weeks after a brief encounter? This isn't a coincidence, but the result of a specific quality of interaction. The psychology behind the absent person effect is fascinating. When an interaction is authentic, emotionally rich, and present, it creates a deep neurological impression. Your brain literally stores this interaction differently than superficial encounters. Furthermore, when a woman maintains a healthy balance between accessibility and natural mystery, not as a manipulative strategy, but as an expression of her genuine complexity, she activates brain circuits related to anticipation and reward. These circuits are the same ones activated in states of desire and motivation. When something or someone is entirely predictable, the brain quickly loses interest. Conversely, when there's an element of continuous discovery, the brain maintains a state of engagement and curiosity that persists even in the person's physical absence. Women who naturally cultivate this gift aren't playing availability games. They simply have rich, multifaceted lives, demonstrate genuine emotional depth in their interactions, and don't try to control others' perception of them. This multidimensional authenticity naturally creates a desire for more interaction, a healthy curiosity that persists over time. Paradoxically, one of the most magnetic elements of feminine fascination is self-direction, the quality of having a life oriented by personal purpose, independent of romantic relationships. This contradicts the misguided notion that men are attracted to women who center their lives around them. Contemporary psychology research reveals that the perception of personal purpose in another person activates specific centers in the brain related to admiration and respect. When you encounter someone passionately engaged in their own goals and interests, who has a clear direction in their life, it sparks natural curiosity and respect. A woman with clear goals, genuine passions, and a rich life independent of relationships exhibits a self-assuredness that is intrinsically attractive. She doesn't seek completeness through another person, but offers the opportunity for connection between two people already complete in themselves. This eliminates the dynamic of dependency that often suffocates romantic relationships. This self-direction creates an interesting phenomenon. The less a woman needs a relationship to feel fulfilled, the more magnetically attractive she becomes. This doesn't mean indifference or coldness, quite the contrary. It means she approaches relationships from a position of conscious choice and genuine desire, not neediness or lack. You might recognize this quality in women who maintain active personal interests, continue investing in friendships, pursue professional goals, and cultivate their personal growth even within relationships. This personal autonomy, far from threatening a romantic connection, creates the necessary space for it to flourish based on mutual desire rather than dependency. Emotional intelligence emerges as another central component of genuine fascination. At its core, emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, process, and express emotions healthily, both one's own and others. An emotionally intelligent woman creates an environment of psychological safety around her that naturally draws others in. This quality goes far beyond simply being good with emotions. It involves a refined ability to read subtle emotional cues, validate emotional experiences without judgment, and communicate complex feelings constructively. When a woman develops this capacity, she becomes an emotional safe harbor, someone with whom you can be authentically yourself, without fear of rejection or ridicule. The fascination resulting from this emotional intelligence has deep neurological roots. Our brains are fundamentally social organs, constantly seeking connection and understanding. When we find someone who can truly see, understand, and validate, thus on an emotional level, we experience a profound form of security. This emotional security is deeply attractive in a world where many interactions remain superficial. Psychologists have developed practical protocols for cultivating this emotional intelligence in social and intimate situations. These include practices like reflective listening, emotional validation without an immediate attempt to fix problems, and non-violent communication. Women who master these skills create interactions characterized by deep understanding and emotional safety. Another often overlooked aspect of feminine fascination is the ability to awaken and recognize the unique potential in others. When a woman can genuinely see special qualities in you that perhaps even you haven't fully recognized, it creates a powerful connection based on authentic appreciation. This phenomenon has psychological roots in the so-called Pygmalion effect, or self-fulfilling prophecy. When someone genuinely believes in your potential and consistently communicates it through interactions, it can literally help manifest that potential. Not because that person has some magical power over you, but because this consistent positive perception can inspire you to live up to that elevated vision. A woman who has developed this capacity isn't manipulating or superficially flattering. She possesses a genuine curiosity and generosity of spirit that allows her to see beyond superficial presentations and recognize fundamental qualities in the people around her. This ability creates bonds of mutual admiration and loyalty that are extremely lasting. Think about the people who have most positively influenced your life. Often, they are the ones who saw potential in you even before you fully recognized it yourself. This is one of the most transformative aspects of authentic feminine fascination, the ability to inspire others to grow towards their best possibilities through sincere recognition. Finally, we arrive at one of the most subtle and powerful elements of feminine fascination, the ability to masterfully navigate between closeness and distance. This delicate balance between emotional accessibility and personal autonomy creates a field of continuous interest that evolves over time. Adult attachment theory provides a solid psychological foundation for understanding this phenomenon. Healthy and satisfying relationships are characterized by a secure attachment style where there is comfort with both intimacy and autonomy. A woman who has developed this internal balance doesn't oscillate between extremes of suffocating dependency and distant coldness. Instead, she offers genuine emotional closeness while maintaining healthy boundaries and space for individuality, both hers and yours. This creates a relational dynamic where connection is valued and nurtured, but not at the expense of individual identity or personal growth. This balance is radically different from manipulative techniques like playing hard to get that try to create interest through insecurity. The true balance between closeness and autonomy arises naturally when a woman values both authentic connection and personal integrity. It's a reflection of emotional health and self-awareness, not a strategy to control others. The fascination, resulting from this balance, has a sustainable quality that manipulative strategies can never achieve. While emotional games eventually exhaust both those who play them and those who experience them, the healthy balance between closeness and autonomy creates an interest that deepens over time, as more layers of compatibility and mutual understanding are discovered. By understanding these psychological mechanisms that underpin authentic feminine fascination, you begin to recognize the difference between superficial attraction and genuine connection. True fascination isn't about techniques or appearances, but about fundamental human qualities like authenticity, presence, well-managed vulnerability, natural polarity, self-direction, emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize potential in others, and a healthy balance between closeness and autonomy. These qualities aren't tricks or strategies. They are expressions of emotional maturity and deep self-awareness. The good news is that they can all be recognized and valued, allowing you to develop deeper, more meaningful and satisfying relationships. Understanding these principles also offers a clearer lens for evaluating the quality of connections in your life. Instead of being swayed by superficial attractions that often lead to disappointment, you can learn to recognize the signs of authentic fascination that indicate potential for lasting, meaningful connection. Why is this important? Because beyond momentary satisfaction, human beings deeply crave genuine connections that nurture their long-term growth and well-being. Understanding the mechanisms of authentic fascination is, ultimately, understanding the psychological foundations of truly satisfying relationships. Now that you understand these dimensions of feminine fascination, start observing them in your daily interactions. Notice the women who demonstrate these qualities and observe how they affect the people around them. Allow yourself to be inspired, not only to seek these qualities in others, but also to cultivate them in yourself. The ability to be fully present, to be authentically vulnerable, to inhabit your own energetic essence, to maintain personal purpose independent of relationships, to develop emotional intelligence, to recognize the unique potential in others, and to balance closeness with autonomy. These are universally valuable qualities that enrich all dimensions of life, not just romantic relationships. By developing a more refined eye for authentic fascination, you not only improve your ability to form meaningful connections, but also elevate the level of your interactions in general. You start to value substance over surface, authenticity over performance, and genuine connection over momentary validation. True fascination creates a virtuous cycle in human relationships. When we value and respond to authenticity, presence, well-managed vulnerability, and the other qualities we've discussed, we encourage their flourishing both in others and in ourselves. It's an investment in a richer, more satisfying relational ecology for everyone involved. Remember that the true power of fascination lies not in its effect on others, but in how it emerges from a healthy relationship with oneself. Truly fascinating. Women aren't constantly monitoring their impact or adjusting their behavior to please. They are living according to their deepest values, expressing their authentic essence, and allowing the right connections to blossom naturally from that place of authenticity. This is the fundamental secret that is rarely discussed. Authentic fascination isn't a technique for getting something from others, but an expression of your own flourishing as a human being. It's the natural glow that emerges when someone is living in alignment with their inner truth, connected to their purpose, and open to genuine connections. It's also important to recognize that different people will naturally be drawn to different expressions of authenticity. Not every fascinating woman is fascinating to everyone, and that's perfectly natural. True fascination doesn't seek universal approval, but specific, meaningful connections with those with whom there is genuine resonance. This understanding frees you from the search for magic formulas for attraction and directs you toward cultivating connections based on authentic compatibility. Instead of trying to decipher techniques to attract anyone, you can focus on recognizing and appreciating those with whom you share fundamental values, complementary energy, and potential for mutual growth. By deepening your understanding of the psychological mechanisms underpinning feminine fascination, you not only enrich your relational life, but also contribute to a culture of more authentic and satisfying connections. This knowledge empowers you to make more conscious choices in your interactions and relationships, based on substantial values rather than superficial attractions. There is profound wisdom in learning to recognize and value authentic fascination. It's a skill that enriches your life experience, opening doors to connections that nurture your personal growth and emotional well-being. By cultivating this sensitivity, you naturally gravitate toward relationships characterized by mutual respect, genuine admiration, and the potential for sustainable depth. The journey of understanding true fascination is ultimately a journey of self-knowledge and personal growth. As you refine your ability to recognize authenticity, presence, healthy vulnerability, and the other qualities discussed, you inevitably begin to value and cultivate these same qualities in yourself. It is in this convergence between self-development and authentic connection that we discover the true transformative power of genuine fascination. It not only enriches our relational lives, but also guides us toward our own most authentic and fulfilled expression. Now that you understand the psychological mechanisms behind authentic feminine fascination, I invite you to observe these qualities in your daily interactions. Note how they manifest, how they affect relational dynamics, and how you naturally respond to them. This conscious observation is the first step toward integrating this knowledge into your own life experience. More importantly, allow this understanding to inspire you to cultivate authenticity, presence, healthy vulnerability, and the other qualities discussed in your own life. By doing so, you not only become better able to recognize and appreciate genuine fascination in others, but you also begin to emanate these same qualities in your own interactions. This is the final invitation I leave with you. Use this knowledge not only to seek richer and more satisfying connections, but also to become the best and most authentic version of yourself. It is on this dual journey of seeking and cultivating that we find the true transformative power of authentic fascination. True fascination isn't a trick or technique. It's an expression of emotional maturity, deep self-knowledge, and the courage to be authentically yourself while remaining open to genuine connections with others. It is both a reflection of psychological health and a catalyst for satisfying, meaningful relationships. By incorporating these insights into your daily life, you not only transform your experience of relationships, but also contribute to a culture of more authentic, respectful, and mutually enriching connections. This is a truly valuable legacy to cultivate, both for your own well-being and for the lives of those you connect with. Always remember that the ultimate goal is not to manipulate or impress, but to connect genuinely from a place of authenticity and personal integrity. It is in this space of shared truth that we find the most profoundly satisfying and transformative connections, those that not only make us feel desired, but truly seen, understood, and valued in our most fundamental essence. This is the true secret of authentic fascination. It's not about external techniques, but internal connection. It's about the natural magnetism that emerges when we allow ourselves to be genuinely who we are, appreciating that same authenticity in others. In this mutual recognition of our shared humanity, we find the kind of connection that not only fascinates momentarily but sustains and enriches our lives long-term. Understanding authentic feminine fascination, therefore, offers us much more than insights into attraction and relationships. It offers a map for richer, more meaningful, and gratifying human connections in all dimensions of life. It's an invitation to elevate not only our expectations of relationships, but also our own capacity to be present, authentic, and genuinely connected in a world that often values appearances over substance and quantity of connections over quality. Accept this invitation. Allow it to transform not only your understanding of others, but also your relationship with yourself. It is in this personal transformation that the true power of this knowledge fully manifests, enriching your life and the lives of those with whom you choose to share your journey.